Have you ever had the right people in your life but still found yourself struggling? Yeah, that was me. I had support. I had people who genuinely loved me. I had people who prayed for me. I had people who answered the phone when I called. I had people who genuinely wanted to see me win. Yet there were still moments when I felt vulnerable, moments when I felt depleted, moments when I felt tempted to fall back into old ways of thinking, reacting, or coping. And eventually I had to ask myself a question. Is it that I don't have the right people, or do I not know how to use the people God has already given me? That question changed how I think about temptation, community, and spiritual growth. I have two spiritual partners in my life, Tamika and Dawn. Both of them love me unconditionally. Both of them tell me the truth. Both of them hold me accountable. Both of them challenge me when I need it. Both of them are capable of encouraging me, correcting me, praying for me, and helping me grow. But as I've been reading People Fuel by Dr. John Townsend, I started recognizing something. Even though both women are capable of providing all kinds of relational nutrients, they often lead with different ones. Tamika tends to lead with presence. She listens. She creates space. She helps me process. She helps me slow down long enough to understand what I'm actually carrying. Dawn often leads with perspective. She helps me identify the gap. She helps me to see what I might be missing. She helps me to move toward action when I've stayed in a place too long. Now, both of them can do both. That's important. Tamika will absolutely tell me the truth, and Dawn will absolutely sit with me when I need support. The difference isn't capability. The difference is what they naturally bring to the table first. And that's what God began showing me. Different relationships often provide different relational nutrients. Not because one relationship is better than another, but because different moments require different kinds of nourishment. Sometimes I need encouragement. Sometimes I need perspective. Sometimes I need comfort. Sometimes I need truth. Sometimes I need prayer. Sometimes I need accountability. And what I started realizing was that I wasn't identifying what I actually needed. I was simply reacting to what I felt. And that's where God began showing me something deeper. Because when we talk about temptation, most people immediately think discipline, willpower, self-control, trying harder. But what if temptation isn't always revealing a lack of discipline? What if sometimes it's revealing a lack of fuel? That thought challenged me. Because when I looked honestly at some of my own struggles, I realized many of them showed up during moments of depletion, emotional depletion, mental depletion, relational depletion, spiritual depletion. And when we're depleted, we're vulnerable, not because we're bad, not because we're broken, but because empty tanks make poor decisions. That's what made the people fuel concept so powerful for me. Just like our bodies need nutrients, our souls need nutrients too. We need encouragement. We need connection. We need perspective. We need truth. We need support. We need accountability. And when those needs go unrecognized, we often reach for counterfeit fuel. We reach for distraction. We reach for comfort. We reach for isolation. We reach for old patterns. We reach for things that promise relief but never provide lasting nourishment. And this is what God started showing me. The issue wasn't always that I lacked support. The issue was that I lacked awareness. I wasn't asking, what do I need right now? I was simply reacting to what I felt. So instead of looking at the relational nutrients that I needed, such as encouragement, comfort, perspective, truth, accountability, prayer, support, challenge, I should have asked myself, what do I need right now? One day I realized there were moments when I was emotionally overwhelmed. In those moments, I didn't necessarily need more correction. I needed someone who could help me process what I was carrying. Other times I wasn't overwhelmed. I was drifting. I was rationalizing. I was avoiding something God wanted me to confront. In those moments, I didn't need comfort. I needed truth. And what I began learning was that maturity isn't just knowing who is in your life. It's discerning what God may want to provide through them in a particular moment. That was formation for me. Because God wasn't simply changing my behavior, He was changing my awareness. He was teaching me to discern the difference between what I felt and what I actually needed. So let me ask you a question. Who do you run to when you're slipping? Not when you're winning. Not when everything is going well. Who do you run to when you're vulnerable? Who do you call when you're discouraged? Who do you call when you're exhausted? Who do you call when you're overwhelmed? Who do you call when you're tempted to return to old patterns? And here's the deeper question. What are you actually looking for when you call them? Is it encouragement, comfort, perspective, prayer, truth, accountability? Because those are very different needs, and they require different forms of nourishment. One of the things I'm learning to do is stop reacting immediately to what I feel. Instead, I pause and ask, what do I need right now? And then I become intentional about drawing from the relationships God has already provided. Not because people are my source. God is my source. But God often uses people as part of His provision. And maybe that's the lesson I needed to learn. For a long time, I thought the answer was finding something new, a new strategy, a new breakthrough, a new solution. But God showed me that much of what I needed was already present. I just wasn't recognizing it. Some of us keep asking God to remove the temptation while He's trying to show us the depletion underneath it. Some of us keep praying for new relationships while overlooking the people He's already placed in our lives. Some of us keep focusing on the struggle while missing the unmet need beneath the struggle. So before you judge the temptation, identify the depletion. Before you focus on the behavior, pay attention to the need. Before you ask, how do I stop slipping? Ask, what do I need right now? Because God may have already provided the fuel. The question is whether you recognize it. And when you learn to identify the nutrients your soul needs, you stop reaching for counterfeit fuel. You stop cycling through the same patterns and you begin drawing strength from the provision God has already placed around you. That's where growth happens. That's where formation happens. And that's where overcoming begins. But here's what I've learned. Having the right people in your life matters. The right support matters. The right fuel matters. But even when we have the right people in our lives, we can still find ourselves repeating the same patterns. And that's the next question I had to wrestle with. Why do I keep going back to the same things? Because sometimes the issue isn't who you're running to. Sometimes it's what's still living underneath the pattern. We'll talk about that in the next video.